tonight. Whoever is the first one in, please let me know if you can hear me okay. No one may even make it in tonight. That's okay too. Tonight, whoever is the first one in, please let me know if you can hear me okay. Hey CB, how you doing? Actually, without calling anyone out, I was kind of thinking about you, and you were the reason why I was doing this live. And CB, if you don't want this live out there, let me know after I do it. We'll kill it. Because once again, I want to show you as much respect as possible. Because I don't know, bro, that I ever told you, but I know your love for nature. I know your concern for nature, and I have the utmost respect for you. Been a long day, I'm not gonna lie. I released my, I'm pretty sure you saw it, my Herping with Caveman Rob. That guy's from a TV show called Kings of Pain. It's a little on the sensational side. But the guy hits me up, it's like, hey, can you help me find this species? Huh? It's a little late in the year for that species, but I may be able to help you. Turns out he's a local. Someone I'm kind of surprised I didn't just run across just in my years of herping before he left town. He went out to pursue just a different life in the Golden State some years back. And turns out, hey Fungus Queen, how are you? Thank you for listening, Fungus Queen. Hey CB man, just if you get any feelings afterwards, let me know. Because the same thing that happened to you today has happened to me before. And I'll tell you about my story real quick, and the video's still up. I'm good, Fungus Queen. I'm a little peeved about stuff today on YouTube. Kind of like to choke some trolls. But anyway, I have a video. Haley, good to see you from across the pond. I had a video called Spring Herping in the Keystone State Park area or something like that. And I was stupid enough to share the video on Facebook in one of the herp groups. Hey Ariel, glad you're here. I have not listened to your voice message yet. I will. I promise. And I'll probably be around after this. So I'm having a little trouble. But anyway, I threw out this video called Herping in the Keystone State Park area. Google this on a map. I could be talking about the 50 or 100 acre, whatever it is, park, or the wildlife management area surrounding it. And I got I tell you this, I got all kinds of hate comments, attack comments, and people were yelling at me about giving out a location. And I'm sitting there kind of laughing my head off because a lot of these idiots, and the people that were going after me were idiots. The other people who kind of were like, "Oh, good video, man," they understood. They understood how big of an area I was talking about. And but anyway, it's like, yeah, if I understand giving out specific locations of certain like highly endangered or highly collected species, giving out like an exact location, even sometimes down to county location, depending on what it is, can be a little haphazard, to say the least. I agree, Ariel. In this one group, and it's a shame because it's a group I think highly of, it's the North American Field Herping Association. That's where I had, like 14-year-old kids who, you know, have probably never even field herped a day in their life trying to tell me, like, that I was wrong for listing a location. Okay, all the animals that were shown in this video, not a single one of them was on the endangered species list or was even protected at a state level. I threw in some footage of a timber rattlesnake, which actually, and this is why you want to catch my lives, if you're a fan of mine, if you follow my channel, that timber rattlesnake wasn't even shot in that area, even though the whole area knows they're there. People inside and outside the herp community know they're there. You see, when Joe Farmer kills one and puts it on the, Sand Springs or Manford Facebook page, he posts a dead snake. And he's like, killed 3 of these over in this town by the dam, blah, blah, blah. He gives out way more information than a herper could if they wanted to, in my opinion. And you see, that touches on another area. I've been involved in a lot of crazy stuff. Some of you guys know that I actively track the commercial rattlesnake trade in North America, which is a huge market. Some people think that's just roundups. No, roundups is like 25-30% of it, based on what I see. Keep in mind, I know the people that are buying these animals. I'm not going to rat them out or anything. Because what they're doing is legal. They have the permits, they have the licenses. It's on the game departments to change their harvest regulations if they want something done about it. I understand that, Catbird, but that's why I kind of want to throw out what I'm going to throw out. Once again, don't have to listen to me on this, but I've been on YouTube almost as long as SmetLogic has. I've just had different channels. No offense, SmetLogic. But SmetLogic's seen some of my stuff from like back before 2010. So I mean, that alone tells you I've kind of been around it a long time. But my friend, Catbird, I'm just going to go ahead and mention your name if that's okay, because you said what you said in chat, listed a video, and it was like a state park or a provincial park. I'm not sure how that works in Canada. Hey, Big Matt, how are you? Glad to have you in with us tonight. You might find this of interest. But anyway, Catbird throws out a video, shows some scenery, shows some mountains, which I kind of feel was like my suggestion. I told him, dude, put more scenery in it. If you don't find a lot of animals, put more scenery in it. So I kind of felt a little bad because I kind of felt like that might have came from me. Maybe I'm just imagining crap in my head. It's not uncommon for me to do. But anyway, he didn't show anything endangered. He didn't show anything that is highly collected that I know of. And the spot he was in was, to me, from what I know and understand, so remote that it's not like it's not like a lot of people would go there to collect or harvest or destroy the area or whatever. And also, it's a government park, if I'm understanding this correctly. I did look up provincial parks earlier, and I'm sitting there going, I wonder how many other people have shot videos in this location and been even less discreet. Because some YouTuber guy that's a hiker or an adventure channel, they're not going to care about the status of this lizard or that salamander in this park. If they find it, they're going to show it. They may even pick it up, which once again illegal for some species in Canada, which catbird didn't do. Gotcha, Lee. We'll have to keep that in mind. Um, you filmed that on May 7th. That was a little early. But at the same time, do people not know those animals are there? You see, that's my concern, or my beef with it all, is I'm trying to kind of keep you out of this catbird, although it was your video that got attacked. But, like, okay, like, you can pull up Keystone State Park on the Oklahoma Outdoors Parks and Recreation Wildlife website, and they will give you a listing of every animal that they know is there. Okay. So the public can say it's there. The game department can say it's there. I understand being concerned over like exact locations being pinned on INAT or something. But at the same time, and this is what I'm getting at, this is where I give you guys a little bit of my trickery. I don't always do this. I don't like to do this. Once in a while, I'll do it to spice something up. But like the timber rattlesnake, which was the only thing I could think of that would be collected from that park, wasn't actually filmed in the park. It was like filmed in another area. Now, it was close to the area, but once again, everybody knows they're there. It's like western diamondback rattlesnakes in the Wichita Mountains in southwest Oklahoma. I mean, there's these big signs on the trail: rattlesnakes may be present. Please wear appropriate footwear. It's like everybody in the state knows rattlesnakes are there. It's common knowledge. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't areas where, like, I can think of a few animals, like the cottonmouth, for example. I know of one range extension in Oklahoma where they're working to extend the county that this cottonmouth was found in, and it was just over the county line from a known county, but yet still registers as a scientific field collection, or a valid scientific field collection. Hey, Life Freedom. Hey, Morbid Redix. Glad to see you guys in here. Me, Life Freedom, I'm just getting some stuff off my chest. Morbid is just kind of more the same. But anyway, everybody like attacks me for this video that has Keystone State Park area in the title. And there have not been any timber rattlesnakes found in that park, in the park directly that I know of. The whole area around it, yeah, and you can figure that out from range maps. But, like, is someone really going to go out of their way to collect a western rat snake? I mean, we can see 10 of those a day down here. It's like, I don't even think people would leave their neighborhoods to collect those. Just become the neighborhood snake guy like me, and, people will call you when those animals are there. Yeah, good to see you tonight live. I've been missing you, but I kind of been tied up and busy too. But anyway, it's to me a little bit on the hypocritical edge what I saw happen to Catbird today. Get attacked by a couple of trolls. And I started getting questions from snakes on the plains about it, and I told them what was going on, and they and Pemberton boys too, they were in on it. They watched the video, and they were kind of like, they kind of thought like Ian thought this is probably like an overreaction. And seeing as though the only species he's shown was a non-threatened species that everybody knows is there, you know, um, I just didn't see what was wrong with the video, Catbird. Hang on, I think I understand where this is going. You cannot divulge the location of endangered critter. Right. Yes, and that is kind of the key. But the other part of it is the hysteria that goes on in the field herping community, at least in the United States that I see, where, you know, you have something, there are animals that like most people in the state and most commercial collectors already know where they can go to find the species that they're looking for. And I've even asked some people who collect for rattlesnake roundups, like, so much land in Oklahoma is private, what do you do? And it's like, I just go down to the feed store and I say, hey, I hunt rattlesnakes and I've been doing it for 30 years and I've got references and I'd like to hunt your land. And then that information gets passed from the feed store owner onto the commercial collector. Then he goes and legally collects rattlesnakes. They don't really use INAT, some of them places. Some of them places don't even have internet. Or I'd say something beyond dial-up. I mean, some of those places with commercial hunts are really far out in the boonies. This guy was leaving comments on one of Catbird's videos, and I can understand his decision to maybe pull it and rework it. However, Catbird, you may have made one mistake. If you didn't block those names from your channel, and I'm going to get into that, I would do that anyway. So that way they just can't come see your channel ever again. They have to go make an entire new Gmail address for that. And for some reason, I thought there were two trolls, but I thought they were the same person. I really did. Kind of got that feeling. I've dealt with a lot of them. And what I've generally learned, well, this wasn't in a live Ariel. This was on a video. This was the comments section. And yeah, I reported the comments. I actually did report the comments as spam and harassment because I felt that's what's going on. And I told one of them, if you would have came in under your real name, might have added some legitimacy to your argument. And he's like, well, who are you to ask me this? And I'm like, who are you to ask this guy what he's doing? That one guy's like, the second guy was like, I'm so familiar with that spot, but yet he couldn't answer Catbird when Catbird asked him how many times he's been there. Hey, Gary, thanks for stopping by tonight. But my whole thing is, I understand if it's an endangered or highly collected creature, and in Catbird's case it wasn't. In my case, it was kind of marginal, but once again, I'm kind of laughing my head off at the moron that goes into the actual Keystone State Park where there's a ton of people and no hibernaculums and looks for a timber rattlesnake. A matter of fact, I would hope they would let me know they were going so I could watch them flip rocks all day and come up empty. But timber rattlesnakes, like in the example in my video, I would say they have a fairly strong population in Oklahoma. They are losing habitat. They are not as hardy as some of the other species of rattler we have here. But at the same time, they are open season for commercial collection. They're not often taken, but once in a while, 15 or 20 of them will show up at a hunt. And that's bad news. once again, why the game department hasn't taken them off rattlesnakes for hunting season. I'll never know why, because those guys they're here, and some spots they're downright common, but they're almost never seen. And you don't have the run-ins with them that you do the Atrox, Western Diamondbacks. I understand that a little more. But I guess where I'm going with this whole thing, because I don't want to be on all night. Wasn't planning on doing a live. I just came on to do it. And I didn't think anybody'd show up. My gosh, I've got like 11 people watching. Thank you all for checking out and cutting me some of your time. I do appreciate it. But I guess where I'm getting at is, why do we, as people with scientific collector's permits, for example, or those that cooperate with do, why do we file county range extensions? Why do we turn in anything? I mean, the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation is asking people to turn in Texas horned lizard sightings. Now, thank you, Ariel. Now, I know for a fact that the Texas horned lizard was at one time in every county in Oklahoma. They blanketed the entire state. They were a very, very common animal here, and about the late 70s, early 80s, we started not seeing them. I think some of it may be climate, some of it pesticides for sure had an effect. Invasive fire ants, another cause. We all know Texas horned lizards survive on a diet of harvester ants. And we also know that fire ants run out harvester ants. They overtake their colonies, kill them, all that stuff. Well, and Catbird, that brings up another point. Because your video is down now, I will say maybe it was the people who were there doing that stuff with the rocks, and they're not supposed to be doing the rocks, so they start attacking you to try to get you to take your video down. Generally, like if someone leaves a comment on one of my videos, this is just me, this is what I do. Send me a message on Instagram or give me a call or whatever anytime you want me to expound on this further. But many of you guys know that, like, I will do snake relocations from time to time. A person has a snake in their garage, I go get it, save it from getting killed, release it in a field nearby, hopefully crisis averted. It's definitely a short-term solution because something drew that snake there, food source or something. But anyway, I filmed a bull snake that we relocated. And I got one comment from one guy that said, "Why did you have to harass that snake so long?" And I said, I filmed it for like a minute and a half. What are you talking about? He's like, "Well, that was a 5-minute video." I said, "Yeah, but I used 3 cameras." He's like, "Oh, okay, well, I appreciate you, blah, blah, blah." And I just kind of let it go. But normally, if I start getting these weird kind of hateful comments, like people know me or they act like they know me or they say this or that, I generally block them on the spot. And I'll tell you why. They could be someone, like I said, with some kind of illegitimate other ulterior motive. Like they could have been doing all that rock chipping there, and they're probably not supposed to if it's a state park. Because like here in Oklahoma in the state parks, you're not supposed to even pick up a rock and put it in your pocket. It happens all the time. But I think technically is illegal, need a special permit to go do anything with a rock formation. Or they could be people legitimately concerned about what they were concerned about, even though I think their concern was a little misplaced. I did think it was funny they told Ian, Techno Endo, that, he doesn't understand this area. It's like, my God, he's up there not too far from it. I'm pretty sure he's herped it. I hope I don't misquote Ian. Correct me if I do. But Ian's from up in the same area, and these kids are telling Ian that he doesn't know what he's talking about because he doesn't know the area. And I totally understand isolated populations are more at risk. than populations that connect to an adjoining habitat, biome, whatever you want to call it, where more of the same species can be found. That's how genetic diversity happens. And I go to great lengths to keep some pocket populations of animals secret, because like I know like of a rattlesnake den that's like behind a school in Oklahoma. I won't even say eastern or western, and I'm just not going to out that. I don't see any kids in any danger of being bit. Um, I just don't see any potential problems, and I would be more worried about other things if I wanted to be worried about something. But like I said, where do we draw the line on this stuff? Because it's getting to where I found this rattlesnake that wasn't endangered, and it was in Texas, and there's millions of them, and someone will jump down your throat because you disclosed at your own peril and whatnot, or lack thereof, a county, a location, maybe a road. And what gets all over me is a lot of these people, sometimes they may be legit and just over emotional and don't know how to state their opinion in a way that gets you to listen to it and accept them before you just block them. I want to be heard. I want you to understand where I'm coming from. So I try to be more diplomatic. Right, or a sign. But a lot of these same people who try to crucify you for saying, buttermilk racer found at Sam Houston State Park in Texas, which anyone remotely familiar with that park knows it's like, I want to say more than 12,000 acres. And that snake could have been under any log in that park. Now, granted, you don't want every log in the park getting torn up, but are people looking for buttermilk racers that bad? There could be a few individuals out there. But like I said, chances are, going back to what I was talking about earlier, they already know where to go. If they're a collector, they're successful, there's lots of other ways besides using INAT, although I'm sure some have. But the ones I've talked to didn't even know what the heck it was. They thought I was talking about a bug. They thought I was talking about, something. And I don't want this to be another rant or tirade against INAT or pro INAT or whatever, because I've done a few of those. But like, literally, I pulled up the area Catbird was showing. I looked at some of the animals around that had sensitive populations. They were still getting pinned out there by other people. Now, what am I going to do? Like, let's say I'm a web savvy reptile collector, amphibian collector. Am I going to follow someone's videos and they never show what I'm after? I'm going to go straight to a database that logs it. In that situation, I'm going to go with the database. And Catbird, honestly, I still don't know what to think, because I still think that chipped up flint and obsidian may have had something to do with it. Like you said, not an ancient site. I totally agree. But I was a little upset you took the video down, not gonna lie, because I like the video. It's a beautiful little video. Snakes on the Plains liked it, Pemberton Boys liked it, Smet Logic liked it. I mean, your fans liked your video. And Steve Pemberton from Pemberton Boys, I hope he pops in here. He said that he generally sets, because I've had the conversation with him before about comments, like it's like he doesn't get to him till a week later or whatever. That's okay. Everybody, you do you, for sure. He said he puts his comments to where he has to approve them, and I saw where you can mark that in the selection. Each video, when you're going through the studio section, you just click it down, drop down a menu, and then you look at it and you allow all comments, hold some that may be appropriate, approve all comments, or disable comments. And once again, I was dealing with so many negative and crappy and hateful comments. Some were racist in nature. Um, stuff. Got you, joke. Live. I don't blame you. And I probably may start because I just dropped a video. I'm real surprised I haven't gotten any hate over it yet, honestly, because I shared it like on Facebook to my own page, not in any of the groups. No, I shared it in one group. Then I shared it on Instagram. I shared it a few places. And what this guy does is his name is Rob. He goes by Caveman Rob. Gotcha, Ariel. And he has a show on the History Channel here in the United States called Kings of Pain. And what these guys do is a little edgy. It's a little controversial, but they take like venomous bugs. I think they've done snakes. I haven't watched all the show yet, so I've seen one full episode. But like they pick up like tarantulas and have them bite each other. There's like a doctor on standby. And a lot of that kind of stuff is generally frowned upon in the field herping or the professional keeping community. Not all, but some. Well, me and him just go out field herping. He's not doing any of that stuff. But it's a chance to meet someone in the business. Of course, I'm going to take it. Come to find out, he knows a lot of people I know. It's kind of odd our paths didn't cross sooner. But, he was just kind of like, man, I just wanted a job where, I could, be outdoors and do things with, critters. And this came along and real down to earth guy. But yet, there will be a ton of people who will criticize him. And we had to talk about, what sells. Like sometimes if you're relying on YouTube, it's almost like you have to be controversial to get anyone to watch your video. And exactly, Lee. Sometimes text messages, things like that, can be misinterpreted. I also would not entertain the thought that these guys that attacked Catbird might have been actually sincerely interested in the population's animals there. But I've seen very similar videos by other creators that have more of a following than Catbird, and you see, they don't go jump on them. They attack the dude with 100 subscribers, 500 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers. They don't go jump on one of the more popular field herping channels. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to get dragged into a war this week. I'm tired and cranky. If I get dragged into a war, I'm probably going to be really pissed off, be out for blood. But, I've seen big name YouTube field herpers, and I don't want to get into who or how many followers, but I've seen them do things worse than what Catbird did, and I thought what Catbird did was fairly innocuous. And some of the stuff they said before, it's like, it's like, I wouldn't have gotten that from the video. Yeah, he told me he got bit by a Southern Pacific rattlesnake. I didn't have time with him to get into did you do anything crazy or any tricks or any, thing, because me, I'm skeptical, because you're just not going to take a bite from a Southern Pacific rattlesnake, which is what a Hellerai is, and just be like, okay, now I'm going to stand by and let you video my reaction. It's not going to go down like that. Gotcha. Life freedom, I'll make a note. But anyway, I'm just kind of wondering, like, I'm pretty sure people jumped on me when I posted my video about the Keystone Forest. That, once again, is this huge area, if you think about it. And they just hadn't seen me post in 6 months. Because 2 posts down is one of the big names of this group. And he's talking about how great iNaturalist is and that he pins everything to it. No one had anything to say to him. Probably post in that group more often. I just think it's hypocritical. We can list things on range maps and then say because someone does some video, they give out a location. Let me tell you something from the Angry Atrox School of Wildlife Video Filmmaking Reality. From Steve Irwin to everyone that came before him and to everyone after him. Not all wildlife videos are staged, but a good 95% of them have some element of staging in them. Inconvenient truth. Like when I did my rattlesnake den video that I went to, a lot of people were like, why'd you give out the location? Okay, I was at the base of one windmill on private property, and there are 500 windmills in this area, in this mountain range. We all know rattlesnakes are all over the county. But how did I tell you which windmill I was at? The windmill had no identifying features, didn't have a serial number, didn't have anything you could look up. You couldn't tell unless I had my coordinates on, and I didn't. Beyond that, if you're going to go that far, you don't need an internet database or a YouTube video to find the animal you're after. I would hope not. Maybe you do. There's some scary people out there. Trust me. But anyway, just kind of like this animal inhabits this county. This animal inhabits this area. We have a good handle on a lot of that stuff. We generally know what areas we can count on not seeing species in and whatnot because all these different data programs. I mean, range maps are everywhere. Birds, reptiles, trees, flowers, mammals. Probably one for bacteria and stuff out there. Exactly. Catbird, and once again, the timber was completely staged. But like getting to that video where me and Nathan went to the same spot from Snakes on the Plains, you'd have to get permission to get on the land. You'd have to know exactly where I was at. 3, there's other places more locally known that are a lot easier to find than where we went through. 4, you'd have to get through the landowner because he struck me as the type that would, shoot you if he caught you trespassing. And then you'd have to get past the old steer in the farmyard. And by gosh, if you can get by that steer, maybe you deserve to find that spot. And Catbird, I felt the same about you. They saw a non-endangered species, and then they started talking about you blowing up locations. And I've never seen one of your videos that, to me, would give out a location hint or clue. Now maybe to someone who'd already been in the area, maybe that could happen. But then how far are they away from finding that anyway? I mean, if they wanted to look for it, they'd be back in that area, especially if they were truly familiar with it. I just don't buy it, and especially when it comes to reptiles, and I'll tell you why. You meet people that would not dream of shooting a bald eagle, even if it was eating their puppy dog, because they know it's illegal. On public land, you can't kill a rattlesnake out of rattlesnake season on public land. But I guarantee you, there would be people who would post it publicly on Facebook. The game department may or may not care, depending on where you are, where you're at. And I shouldn't say that because I'm not down on the game department. But there would be people who would kill a snake, post that they did it, maybe even get a ticket. But they'd be up and down all over that they can do this, they have the right to do this. It's snake hatred. And once again, certain geographical areas, that's another thing you can get into. in Canada, people have a lot different attitudes towards wildlife than they do in the States. At least a lot of Canadians do. Not all, because I've met some that don't. But, and I'm not saying that the United States is bad. But I think kind of what I'm getting at is there are some differing attitudes. Another point, Catbird. Gosh, I'm getting tired. I'm going to have to cut off quick before long. Really getting tired. But, like, if you had a spot and it was cool, why would you do anything that would intentionally draw more people there? Makes no sense. Like I said, if people went into Keystone State Park looking for a timber rattlesnake that didn't exist, and they find one, God bless them. Gang, it has been a long, long day. I appreciate you listening to my mini rant. Catbird, leave me a comment down below. I don't have the chat turned on yet, or the comments turned on yet. I'll get that turned on right after this, and if ever for any reason you want me to drop this live, let me know. It's not a problem. It's really not at all. But guys, if you don't have any final stuff, I'm gonna look here for a minute. Exactly, Catbird. Sean Fuchs, gospel singer in Colorado, someone who I probably would have liked, kills a bull snake that is illegal to kill, and posts about it on Facebook, and then like makes a show out of it. Once again, I mean, I get it, and I culturally I see it. I just wish it wasn't that way. I'll say that much. But yeah, Catbird, I mean, you've shown me nothing but respect for nature in our discussions we've had, things like that. I really hope you keep making videos. Things like this are hiccups in the road. We all deal with a bad troll attack from time to time. Sometimes a lot worse than this. Facebook is disgusting. I can agree with you more. Of course, there are some just straight up horrible people that are only on YouTube. Pretty sure of that. But, like I said, where do we draw the line? Do we stop at range maps? Do we stop at counties? Do we stop at countries? And is there anything to gain from it? I hope I get some comments after this. And, like I said, Catbird, this one's for you. Any reason you want this down, just let me know. It comes right down. I do appreciate everyone stopping by tonight. I appreciate everyone that hit the like button. And I appreciate everyone who even stayed just a few minutes. I'm glad you cut me an ounce of your time. Guys, take care. Leave me a comment down below in about 5 minutes. And I'll see you guys later.